Hi guys, ArchieLuxury. Go to f2bbs.com. www.f2bbs.com. The last bastion of free speech on the interweb. Hey guys, it's ArchieLuxury on the ArchieLuxury channel. Well, it's the poor Pluta channel doing paid reviews. And today I am doing a paid review. This is for Lewis. Yes. Now this here is paid review 21QA68. 21QA68. Quick wristwatch check. Rolex Explorer 2 Polar. Hello there, Archie. My name is Lewis, and it is a pleasure to have the ability to contact you for your services, being that I'm a fan of your work. I am 24 years old from Los Angeles and have a good paying job working in the television industry. That's a bit of an oxymoron if ever I saw one. My interest in watches grew quite quickly after I had seen people I admired wearing them. I wanted one of them. On my 23rd birthday, I purchased my first one, which was a Tony Hilfiger Scheider. I don't know what I was purchasing. I just wanted to have a watch. Later, I started experimenting and buying different watches from Tissot, Orient, G-Shock to Seiko. My problem is I like collecting things. Probably most often, I am collecting shite as far as maintaining value goes. However, the more and more I watch your channel, I tend to agree with you on a lot of things. Being that I'm a fan of Seiko, your Seiko is for losers video not only made me shite myself laughing, but made me think, if I want to wear a watch to strike up a conversation, celebrate an event or milestone in my life, truly feel like I'm wearing Swiss luxury, it needs to be Rolex. I don't think Seiko is for losers. I think Seiko is probably the best entry-level watch company for someone who truly wants value for what they pay for. Also a gem for collectors, but I need to grow up and keep my collection to a minimum, an impressive minimum. What do? Sell all of my Scheiders, give them away. I plan on keeping my Seiko Alpinist and 2 SKXs. Great because they're my favorite currently and will use them as beaters in the future. I feel I can save enough cheddar for a Rolex by next year. I want to pay it out immediately and do not want to be a victim to the nasty credit card companies. My eye is set on either the Air King or the Milgauss. I know Rolex are difficult to get new. Should I go for the used route? This is going to be my first Rolex and I plan on taking care of it and wearing it a lot. This needs to be the right decision and I need your help. I paid $50 via PayPal for advice and opinion on this matter. Please let me know your thoughts and availabilities. I wish you good health and all the best. Arch. So we've got a young guy, 24. That's a great age to be. He's in LA in television. He wants a decent. He wants to get a decent watch. So I firstly got to tell you, paid watch investment advice. So, okay, investing in watches, that's my advice. I think the first thing you need to do is you need to realize that the dividends from this investment aren't necessarily in buying a watch which doubles or triples in value, but it's to buy something that makes you feel good, and it will be something that you can keep for a long time, and it will be a reflection on you as a person. Now, the truth is, with all of these material goods, a wristwatch does not make you, a Rolex does not make you cool. However, many cool people, they wear Rolex. So you've just got to remember the rule there. So that's an important thing to understand. Now, okay, let's talk. Okay, let's have a talk there. What do we do? Look, I tend to agree with you. I think basically look, the thing is, you want to get a watch that's going to keep you satisfied. And, you know, I got to be totally honest with you. I don't think credit cards are super evil. If you use a credit card to put a little bit on and then you pay it down in a relatively short period of time, it's not the end of the world. Now, 24, that's a pretty young age. You're a young guy. We've got Marco. We do live chats. Live shows on the ArchieLuxury live streaming channel. It's another channel where I broadcast every day. Marco, young guy, he's only 21. Now, I got to tell you, what would I buy? You know what I would buy? I'd buy something in this box here. Okay, any of those are fine. So what do we got here? We've got a Rolex Submariner. We've got a steel one. We've got a Tudor Black Bay Burgundy. We've got a Milgauss. And we've got an Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon. Man on the Moon. Now, I got to be totally honest with you. I tend to think Rolex is a fantastic brand to get. In my country, I'm in Australia, it is impossible to get steel sports Rolexes brand new. You've basically got to have a relationship with an AD, and let's be honest there. At 24, you do not have the money or time to play their silly AD games. If I were you, if you were in America, go to David SW, David SW, David SW. That's what I would do. I would go to David SW, and I personally, if you've got the money, get a Rolex. Get a Rolex. What would I get? What would I get? Look, I think the thing is this. If you can afford it, get a Steel Sports Rolex. Steel Sports Rolex. Now, that covers quite a range of watches. The lower priced ones of those would be your Air King, the new Air King, the Milgausses, the Explorer One, okay? Then the premium of those, of course, would be Panda, the Daytona, the Pepsi GMT, and of course the Kermit, the ceramic Kermit. Okay, that'd be the pick. But I personally believe, myself, for a young man like yourself, I would go wind and wear. What do I mean by wind and wear? No date. That'd keep the cost a little bit down. And it's just a simple piece of horology to have. Now, when we're talking about investments, look, the reality is watches can be an investment. The problem is you need to have the knowledge to buy and to sell. If you don't have the knowledge, it'll be you'll sell through dealers, you know, that they'll give you wholesale and you'll pay retail. So you've got to really know the business. To be able to make money out of watches, you've got to understand the business. And that's different to just being an enthusiast who wants to have something of value. Personally, my advice to you is, if you can do it, man, get yourself the Milgauss. Get yourself a Milgauss. What color? Blue dial, black dial, Z blue or non-Z, non-GV? Doesn't matter. Any Milgauss, even the white, is a great watch to have. Just get it. I don't care if you put a bit on a card, pay it off as soon as you can, and it's your watch. Now, if that is a struggle, and believe you me, I certainly believe it. I'll tell you something that is a relative bargain. You're a young guy. If you're under 35, this is a great watch. Tudor Black Bay. Look at this Tudor Black Bay diver. You can get one of these brand new for about $3,000 US. Tudor. So now I would not also say Omega Speedmaster, but let's be honest there, the Omegas have gone crazy now. And I think if you're going to be paying high money, get a Rolex. So my best advice to you is there's nothing wrong with using a card if you use it sensibly. You can put a little bit on, because the problem with Rolex is by the time you saved X dollars, it's gone up. So you can never it's kind of like catching the end of the rainbow for that pot of gold. So my honest advice to you Steel Sports Rolex, doesn't matter. Any of those are great. If that's a problem, get the Tudor Black Bay. Now, the real test of investment is not, hey, it goes up the most. The real test is that you're not flipping it because you're not satisfied. You're not flipping. So if you buy something that almost, if you know, it just, you're going to be striving, you're going to sell it and get something else, that's going to be where you waste a lot of money and time. So personally, my advice to you, the Tudor line is fantastic. That could be a great entry into it. But if you've got the balls, you've got the bottle, and you have got the determination, go Rolex. Definitely go Rolex. But I wouldn't force, if it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So that's basically my advice there. Your Seikos, look, I would sell them off. You're a young guy, put it on Craigslist. You know how technology works. Craigslist, whatever you can do, sell them off, get some money, and get a Rolex Steel Sports. Rolex Steel Sports. That's exactly what I would do there. As far as, look, I want to pay it out immediately. Nothing wrong with using a credit card if you use it wisely. It's going to be a problem if you buy the Rolex, then you get addicted, then you're going to buy another one. But hey, you got to have some self-control. I mean, you could start drinking booze and every day. This is how people lose their careers, you know. So I wouldn't be too hard on the credit card companies there. If you use it wisely, hey, it beats waiting. That's for sure. So my eye to you, Air King or Milgauss, it doesn't matter. They're both amazing watches. You're talking about the new Air King or the Milgauss. They're all fantastic. Grab it. I know Rolex is difficult to get new. Should I go used? David SW. There's no point playing 80 games. That is just ridiculous, okay? It is honestly ridiculous. So there you go. That's the honest advice from the Pontiff. That's exactly what I would do. Investment. When we talk of investment, people say they bought it at 5,000. It's worth 20,000 many years later. No, investment is, it keeps you satisfied. It keeps you the hunger. It keeps you full. You don't have to buy other things because you feel what you've got is garbage. You buy a Steel Sports Rolex, it'll always be rewarding to own. So honestly, that is my best advice for you there. Steel Sports Rolex, nothing wrong with using a credit card. If that is a hard stretch, and I completely understand, Tudor Black Bay would be an alternative. So there you go, guys. That's my investment advice on getting a Rolex, getting a decent wristwatch. Guys, like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Put some comments below. Put some pointers. And guys, remember, I can't survive on Google Ads alone. I need these paid reviews to keep me full-time. Guys, full-time on YouTube means I can make content that you want to watch. Support me. Get a paid review. I also do Patreon. Patreon allows you to pay a small amount each month. And I can survive. Otherwise, guys, I may not be here. Okay, guys, see you in the next one. Hi, guys, ArchieLuxury. And who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury. Who do I recommend for watches in Brisbane and Sydney? Vintage Watch Co. That's correct. Vintage Watch Co. in Brisbane Arcade in Brisbane and the Strand Arcade in Sydney. Vintage Watch Co. Brisbane and Sydney. Ronnie, I've known him since the late 90s. Ronnie is a top bloke. Luke is a great guy. Vintage Watch Co. That is who I recommend in Australia.
check out Vintage Watch Co. and the guys' amazing range of watches. They also do service and repairs. Vintage Watch Co. That is where the Pontiff goes. You know, some of my Pateks came from Vintage Watch Co. That's right, guys. Vintage Watch Co.